Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about my thoughts on The Boys Season 4. So, if you ever watch my channel, then you know I love The Boys. I own the first two seasons, but somewhere in that third season, I started to fall out of love with this show. The show's writing, while still being smart in the third season, it kept relying on gross, like nudity, sex humor. And it just grossed me out. They relied too much on nudity and gags and sex gags and all this other stuff. And it's just kind of like, get back to the story. Then certain characters left the show. Then some characters that you thought was probably like dead, that was still alive, was on the show, only for them to die again. And it's kind of like, what was the point of even bringing them back if they're not even really there? And it's just kind of like, what direction exactly is this show going in? It's still going dark. But it's just like it's an abundance of like nudity now and really gross sex humor. And I'm all like, I don't want to see that at all. So it started to muck up the story for me in season 3. Also, there were other little elements I was disappointed in, like the boys themselves and Kamiko and Annie. Their storylines were pretty good. Some of them were, but then other ones just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And so when I get to this season, I don't think not one individual storyline made any sense whatsoever in relation to this show. Probably Butcher, kinda, you know what I'm saying? But it was like a stretch, and it's just kind of like, what direction is this show going in? What direction are these characters going in? None of their storylines I cared about really in this season. And the same with the villains and everything, because for the most part, they're still the same. The only one that have any real depth and difference is kind of like A-Train, because he's starting to turn on the good side and realizes that he's a crappy person and what he's doing is wrong. And, he's getting scared because Homelander has literally lost it. Homelander is literally trying to take over the country through force, power, and politics of all things. And the politics on this show, it pissed a lot of folks off because they realized, wait, hold up, y'all been making fun of us since day one. A lot of people did not know because they thought, oh, this show talks to me. It talks for people like me. But no, it talks to your toxic side and everything. And even Anthony Starr said, like, he's disgusted with so many of the fans who idolize Homelander. He said, like, no, you should not idolize him. He is an evil, deranged lunatic and everything. And it disgusts him that so many toxic fans like his character and stuff. So a lot of people are butthurt, but it's kind of like, look, this is how y'all are and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like, and the show has like, how did y'all not know the show was making fun of y'all since day one? Like, seriously, it was so many humorous moments like in season 1. How did you not pick up on that? But then the show this season also, it takes like certain characters, like the good characters, the boys, in a certain direction where it's kind of like, dude, you ruined this character. You made this character confusing. You've made this character pointless. And it's like, where are you going with this? And it just baffles me. Like, where exactly are they going with this show? And so, Kripke, the creators, all like, the 5th season is going to be the final one. We're going to end on like a high. We don't want to drag it out because when you start dragging out a show like he did with Supernatural, then, they have, because when shows last for a very, very long time, they run out of material. And things start to become very blah, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is now it's like, it seems like they ran out of material with this season. Because what's so odd is that the end of season 3 and the spinoff of Gen V was supposed to lead into season 4. What was the point of Gen V if a lot of the elements, like really the only real element of Gen V is the virus. And that does get mentioned and it does get shown, but not to the great deal you assume it will be. Two of the characters show up from Gen V, but not until the very end of the series. And it's like, why couldn't they be in the show the entire time? To fill out the ranks of the seven. Wasn't that the point of Gen V to tie directly into the boys? And Gen V is a great show. Like, it's really, really good. It reminds me of the good old days of the boys. So it started making me have faith in this show again. But then I seen season 4 of like the boys, and I'm just kind of like, what was really the point of like this series? Like when it comes to our heroes and everything, they're on such different wavelengths now. You have this really pointless storyline with Huey and Huey's dead or dying father. Huey's father is dying, and then they decide to finally show in Huey's mom, which he does not get along with, and she works for Vault. And so there's this big stuff between those two, why his mom left, and I could really care less. But then Huey decides to give, I think, Temp V to like his father to keep him alive, and it works. Only problem is with the superpowers it gave him like some type of super speed phasing or something like that. So he's literally just busting through people and everything, and it's making him erratic. And Huey realizes he did a bad thing, and his dad is just way worse than what he was before. So he has to euthanize his father. And I'm just kind of like, what was the point of that story? Then, of course, him and his mom, you assume she's going to be evil, but she's not. And is that really all they have him for the first half of this season? But then in the second half, something disturbing happens. He's trying to infiltrate like this one person who's a soup. And so he's pretending to be another soup. And there's more butt humor and nudity and crap like that. But then Huey gets sexually assaulted. At first, this person didn't even know it was him. Then when he does find out it's him, he starts to torture him. And why? Why? I think even the creators said they probably went a little too far with that. And he's traumatized afterwards for like a brief moment, but then he gets completely over it and stuff. Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Then there's Annie, who doesn't want to be Starlight no more. And what they did to her character was horrible. So back to like the politics. She's on the left, Homelander and them on the right. And we find out Annie's not as good as we thought. There's a new character called Firecracker. And Firecracker has beef with Starlight or Annie. Because Annie and her was in like a beauty pageant competition when they was teenagers, and Annie lied and said that Firecracker did all this stuff with a bunch of guys. So people thought, she did like, she's like a so the rumors just ruined her life and all this other stuff, right? And it's like, dude, Annie's one of those characters that people love. She's probably one of like the nicest, and if not the best person on the show in terms of a good person. She always wants to do the right thing. Even back when she was like a superhero and stuff, you love Annie and stuff. But now it's like knowing this, and it's just kind of like, I think there was something else with the baby. I can't remember what. I think they went to like abortion issues with this show or something like that. Or something. It was something with a baby, I remember. Or something about her and Huey or something like that. I can't remember what. But it's like, what the heck are y'all doing with this character and everything? It's almost like character assassination. Like, she was supposed to be the best of the best, and y'all made her do a crummy thing. Of course, when she was younger, but still, it's like, because then you feel bad for the actual villain, which is Firecracker and stuff. So why would you do that? Then there is the whole Frenchie storyline. It's, him and Kimiko have been a couple in the item for a long time. He really cares about her. But then when he sees this one guy, he starts a relationship with him. And it's kind of like, when is Frenchie bi? I don't think that's never been established and everything. And so it's like he's dating this dude, but he's dating him for all the wrong reasons. He feels guilty because he's the one who murdered this dude's family, which, I think was brought up in season one or something like that. So, but he literally dumps Kamiko to be with this guy out of guilt. And Kamiko's just fine with it. She doesn't care. And it's like, dude, don't you care about him? So then eventually he tells the dude the truth, and the dude's all like, I don't want you no more. So then he feels bad for what he did, and he turns himself into the police. Only for him to, like, get released because they needed him to cook up the super virus and stuff. And Kamiko is just all nonchalant, fine with this. She does, like, Kamiko really doesn't even seem like a character of her own story arc this season. She's just kind of there. And she's still not talking to nobody. But they partner her up with Huey in one episode, which was really cool, because those two never have no screen time together. But it's like she really cares about this dude, but she's all like, look, if you really like him so much, be happy and be with him. It's like, don't you want to fight for your man? And so then I think he doesn't want to talk to her when he is out, and I think that gets her a little emotional or whatever. But then we finally get to hear her talk when Frenchie gets kidnapped at the end of the season, and we hear her screaming out and everything. But it's just kind of like, what was the point of these two storylines? And it didn't go nowhere. Then there's Mother's Milk. And his storyline was slightly better. Like, he's now the new leader and everything, but he's stressing out. And then there's his family, his ex-wife's, like, ex was, like, part of, like, Homelander's thing, and then he died and everything. And so he wants to get his family out, but this whole time he's trying his best to be a leader, but everything just keeps blowing up in his face because they keep failing at everything. Also, there seems to be some trouble with his health or something like that, or his heart or something like that. And so that's what he's dealing with, but he's also pissed at Butcher and doesn't want him on the team no more. The whole team doesn't want Butcher. And then you have Butcher himself. Which, yeah, this ties into, like, the third season when he took too much of Temp V. Apparently it caused, like, a tumor in his brain. It's causing him to, like, hallucinate and everything. His story was a little bit better, and we get a little bit more of an emotional side, but throughout the whole season, everybody's treating him like crap. And people like Butcher, but Butcher will go too far sometimes. But the reason why is because he really hates Soups. But everybody hates him because he lies way too much and uses people. But this tumor thing is causing some type of symbiotic creature to flesh out of his skin and just start murdering people off screen in that one brief time on screen. So then you ask yourself, what the heck is going on in his body? And why did Temp V create like a monster inside his body? And so, like, you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character, and you assume that he's real until the big shocker. No, this dude died years ago and it's part of a hallucination. I love that twist, him and Becca and stuff. That twist was like great. But then all of a sudden, I guess once he started to embrace his evil side or whatever, did the tumor heal itself or something? Or was there never a tumor to begin with? I don't know. It was just a little monster thing in him. And so they're working on, like, trying to take down Newman. So they're working with the CIA, right? Because she's the head popper and stuff. And she's also trying to be like vice president and then later president. And so the real president actually knows. And so they've been trying to get, like, ways to, like, kill her and stuff, but they all keep failing. At some point in time, Newman actually turns on the side of good because Homelander is blackmailing her. He wants to expose her to the rest of the world. And so, like, we get to see the Esposito actor come back and everything. And, they have a nice moment with Newman and stuff. And they see that somebody's been injecting these sheep and turned them into soups and everything. So it's a kind of funny scene with that and everything, but like they found the guy from Gen V who made the virus. So they want him to cook more of the virus up, but he doesn't want to. Butcher takes his leg and everything like that, 'cause they had to like fake his death and everything. But of course, he doesn't want to work for them, and there's only like a little bit of it left. I'm not sure they used it. They tried to use it on Newman at one point. I think no. What it was is that it's the type of virus that will go airborne. So not only will it get rid of whoever it is you infect, but all the soups around the world will eventually either die or something like that. So the question is, what's going to happen to Annie and what's going to happen to, like, Kamiko? But towards the end, Vault was one step ahead and literally used two of the teams from Gen V to kidnap every member of, like, the boys except for Kamiko and everything. So it's really curious to know what they're going to do with them, because the boys failed so bad that they had to go their separate ways and leave the country and stuff, only for them to get kidnapped and everything. Then there is Vault themselves in the seven. So you have the Deep, which he's just there for comedic relief and he doesn't do nothing much of interest. I don't know if this is the season. Yeah, I think this is the season when he talks to like his squid and him and his squid kind of like do it or something like that. And I'm just like, why? Why? Then you have Black Noir, who's newer and he's an actor with suit powers and everything. He's pretty comedic this time and he finally gets to talk, so that's fine. A-Train is probably one of those characters that's probably a whole lot better this season because he's starting to learn from all his past mistakes. His brother doesn't want his nephews to be nowhere near him because he's not a real hero. He's a fraud. He has murdered people. And Homelander is literally abusing his power to where he wants him to give a sexual act to that of the Deep. And the Deep doesn't want to do A-Train, and A-Train doesn't want that either, only for Hotline to be all like, oh, I'm just kidding. So it's literally to the point where he's just like done with this whole thing. So him and Ashley start to find things about each other. A-Train is leaking secrets to like the boys, and Mother Milk's all like, look man, if we turn A-Train, we have an inside person. So that works for a while, until there's a new member that kind of screws that up a little bit for them. But anyways, at one point, things get a little too like, because they're starting to realize who's the leak. And so he tells Ashley, hey, look, man, since you know about me and I know about you, let me just run us like far, far away from here and we can just live our lives on the run. But Ashley, for whatever reason, doesn't want to. No, wait, which one is it? One of them doesn't want to do it at first, and I can't remember which one it is. I think it's first, yeah, it's first Ashley. She starts to get worried because Homelander is getting too scary for her. And the thing about Ashley is like she's losing her hair from last season and things are getting worse. But like she lost her position, got like lowered down on the chopping block and everything, because Sage came in and took her job. And it's just kind of like she has like a plaything, and that's the only power she has, because she has no power around the soups because she's terrified they will kill her. And she's really terrified of Homelander, but she's never really scared of the other ones like the Deep until this one new person tells the Deep, don't you let her talk to you like that. You're a soup. She's just a human. And it gets to the point where she's getting scared. So she tells A-Train, just like, let's run away, be on the run together and everything. But for whatever reason, he doesn't want to because he's still in good with like the Seven and he's too afraid to leave. Until his cover is blown and then he wants to take her and run away. But now she doesn't want to because she's too scared of leaving, and plus she thinks that, since she's been loyal and everything, Homelander will never really hurt her. Until A-Train leaves, and then things get so bad that where the they have to kill all the humans that could expose them. So he has the Deep and Black Noir start killing the people who work for Vault. And then she overhears, he's all like, what about Ashley? She knows all our secrets. And Homeland's like, sure, why not kill her? This freaks her out to where she takes Compound V. And it's doing something weird where it starts to mutate her, but we don't know into what. And she should have took A-Train's advice and ran with him, because she gotta remember, these are evil people, and they don't care who they have to off, so they won't get caught. But they actually meant the other Ashley, but she didn't know. So I really wish she would have went with like A-Train, but she didn't. And so the new member is Firecracker, who's like this alt-right type person, and she hates Starlight. So those two are constantly going at it. But there's a new character called Sage. And Sage is like the smartest person in the world, and Homelander has recruited her to help him take over like America and stuff. He wants to pass a certain act that basically gives Supes kind of like martial law and everything, to where they can regulate like everything in America. The president knows this, doesn't want it, and that's why he's blackmailing Newman, because he wants to take out the president and put the vice president in the president's seat. And so, Sage, like everybody gets this from like the first 4 episodes, right? Is that she's been playing everybody because she's so smart. And so like with her playing everybody, like she's literally setting everything in motion, even things you don't know were really gonna happen, even tricking that of Highlander. And so like Homelander, I'm thinking Highlander, the TV series with Adrian Paul, Homelander and stuff. And she's a fascinating character who lobotomizes herself because she's too smart and her brain constantly regenerates and everything. So she has to kind of like relieve the pressure and stuff. She uses the Deep as like a plaything, but she's also banging Noir and everything. And so like Homelander, he is at his worst, murdering all the people in the lab that like helped create him and stuff. And it's just one sinister thing he's doing after another, because he knows he can get away with it. Starlight is his biggest competition because she's opposing him and everything. And with the help of Sage, he's helping to manipulate the situation with the whole Firecracker and Starlight and stuff, right? But then there's the thing with Ryan. Ryan, of course, is his son. And Ryan sided with him at the end of last season. Ryan is kind of like, in between of being good and bad. He sees all this bad stuff happening. He doesn't really like it. They want him to do all this fake superhero stuff, and he's not really into it. But then he starts to abuse his power as well, because he realizes he has it. Butcher tries to get to him, and he's contemplating who he wants to stay with. So he's at a crossroads with his life. And so, when Homelander tries to take out like the president and stuff, he uses a shapeshifter. Now, this shapeshifter literally pretended to be Annie, and Huey did not know at first. And so they've literally banged and everything like that, and he proposes to her. She said yes. And then we find out in a big twist that the real Annie is actually taken captive and stuff. When she's later freed, she's pissed at Huey for not realizing she was the other one was like an imposter. But how the heck was he supposed to know when they look exactly the same? So I don't like how she's giving him crap, especially from like some of the stuff that she's done like in her past. But anyway, so Newman literally gets exposed as being a Supe. And I don't remember exactly what happened to the president. It's been a long time since I watched this. I watched this back in August, I think, or maybe sometime in October. And so Butcher and those tentacle things kills Newman and stuff, right? And I think the bill got passed from the rest of the senators to give like Homelander all the power that he needs and start regulating stuff, because they see with the assassination attempt on the president that like they're gonna need some extra like muscle, and of course they're gonna need Supe power and stuff. But this was all Sage's plan and everything. And like I said, it ends with the boys getting kidnapped. So while I thought this is a pretty good season, it's not as great as it used to be, like in season 1 and 2. Oh, also Homelander found his dad, Soldier Boy. And so it really makes you wonder what the last season is going to be about. It's a control for the White House. It's the Supes versus the boys, but I think Butcher and Kamiko are the only two that did not get kidnapped. I think Huey got taken. I know Mother's Milk did. I know Frenchie did. I don't know about Starlight and everything, but it's literally crazy as to what's going on. And of course, those teenage Supes from Gen V showed up at the end to kidnap the boys and stuff. I just hope that they go back to season 1 and 2, make it action packed, make it thrilling, leave out the sex and nudity and everything, and just get back to the story of these group of humans who are tired of Supes because these Supes are fake and they're really villainous and stuff, and expose them to like the world. So here's the hoping. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.